I realized that every decade had its own kind of asset class that was reigning at the time. Like hedge funds weren't known until a certain time, mutual funds, and then you had index funds, you had funds of funds, you have all of that.
Let's talk about transforming real estate into fractional investments, right? With your Wall Street background, right? It's typically liquid investment grade securities, right? Type of traditional stocks, bonds, mutual funds versus commercial real estate or investment real estate, right? And now you're bringing these two together via blockchain, right? So I don't know where we should start except for give us the moment where the vision connects. Give us that story of, okay, I've got this background, I've got this love for real estate, and how can we connect the two and transform this fractional ownership of investment real estate?
So I have an interesting story from my time in Wall Street. My company and my boss was visionary in a way. So I had a dream to create a new asset class, right? To basically, at that time, I believe it was a marketplace for expired options. And we went to the SEC asking them for, basically applying to do and to make the vision a reality. I think at that time it didn't go through, but for me was eye-opening that we can actually communicate with the regulator and create a whole new asset class that didn't exist before. So I started kind of researching even through my college and master's and then doctorate, which I didn't end up finishing. But I started researching this whole evolution of asset classes and financial products, and I realized that every decade had its own kind of asset class that was reigning at the time. Like hedge funds weren't known until a certain time, mutual funds, and then you had index funds, you had funds of funds, you have all of that. And I actually used that later in my career when I was putting funds together. But again, when we were putting funds together, these extremely liquid products that we would throw in, we were selling them to banks to resell to rich people, right? To accredited investors. And then my idea and kind of my vision was always to make things accessible to everybody, to make good investments accessible to everybody. So that was kind of like always in the back of my mind. What we're doing essentially, what we want to do with our technology is to create asset class that's accessible for everyone for different reasons. Number one, because you don't have, as an individual investor, you frequently don't have access to investing in an amazing hotel or a commercial project or a skyscraper. And number two is regular people don't have the possibility to have their money stuck in some investment for many, many years. So those are kind of two things that I really wanted to change with this new asset class that is now possible.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And so the vision in being in Wall Street and seeing that you can create new asset classes, and in fact, it's what the history is. You're going, hedge funds weren't always around. Now they're around. And the ability to work with regulators and understand that process, and then seeing how the wealthy are making their wealth with the products that you're working with, and saying, is there a way to connect that to the everyday person and also give them liquidity, but also get amazing commercial real estate, right? And that's my background. That's my love. And that's where a lot of people are at. But you're right. It's so daunting unless you're a credit investor, right? And we'll talk about how your system works in a second here. And or you have a ton of money and all these people to get into these big, amazing commercial real estate. And in fact, the top 3% of all wealth in the US, and I would even maybe venture the world, owns commercial real estate, right? And so how are you, breaking that, the old pattern of having to be, or have as much to get there? Is that a fair summary so far?
Absolutely, Brad. That's a fantastic assessment.